What's going on, everybody? Ray from Ray's Cardboard Shop. OP-17 in English is coming out this Friday. Japan already had it released last week. The English single prices are still up in the air and overpriced. We're going to be taking a look at the Japanese single prices just to give us an idea how the set stacks up. The Japanese and English markets are not a one-to-one comparison. What we can kind of get out of looking at the Japanese cards is the demand, what people are buying, and which cards people are actually paying for. There's no TCGPlayer for Japanese singles. So the closest thing we can kind of look at is Yuyu-tei. It's a Japanese card shop that has a sell list. But before that, let's take a look at the current English OP-17 prices. These are pre-sale prices, so the lowest you can get them is $340 right now. There is a Japanese box listed here for $250. That is way overpriced. It already came out. So from looking around, the Japanese boxes, you can get them for about $100 in Japan. Then you add in shipping and tariffs, it probably comes out to about $120 shipped to here in the US. So just stay away from that $250 Japanese box that you see on TCGPlayer. So for me, what I'm doing for the English is I'm waiting. Just go ahead and check your local LGS to see if you can get a good deal. And if you really can't get anything from your LGS, I'd wait till Friday, Saturday, this weekend before you actually pull the trigger to buy something on TCGPlayer. So I'm hoping this drops down to about 250 a box. But like I always say, it's better to just dollar cost average buy in. That way you're not waiting for your specific price point and it might not actually ever come. So moving on to cases, lowest case you can buy is about $4,100, which comes out to roughly $340. That's the same as the loose booster boxes. So same thing like the loose booster boxes, just hold off until this weekend. On to Yuyu-tei. So I just want to let you guys know that this is the shop sell prices. They do have a buyback, but that's lower. So it's not like TCGPlayer. This is actually a shop in Japan, which has their sell prices, but it's still what a lot of people in Japan use to check prices. When you go to this website, it's grouped by rarity, not by price. That's why you'll see a Loki parallel card next to a million, to the Luffy card, which is worth over $1 million yen right now. So for the top chase cards, they don't really have the actual card listed, but this is your Pirate Crew Super Parallel. You can kind of see that the Luffy card is the top card right now, 1,480,000 yen, which is roughly about $9,200, and kind of expected that the Zebek will end up being cheaper than Luffy. So it's going for about 800,000 yen right now, which is close to $5,000 US. So these are the two chase cards. A lot of people are saying that these two cards are equivalent to the gold and silver Gear 5 Luffy. The Pirate Crew cards will end up being the most expensive cards in the deck. It's the chase cards. If you take a look at the silver and gold Gear 5 Luffy, those are selling for ridiculous numbers right now. We're not sure about the pull rates, but people are expecting it to be similar to what those price numbers are. Onto the parallel SR cards. Most of these are fairly cheap except for the manga cards. You've got the Shanks manga at about 250,000 yen, roughly about $1,500. It's the highest manga with the Whitebeard and Kaido at about 150,000 yen, which roughly about $925. Big Mom coming out in the rear, that's kind of expected, just about 100,000 yen, which is about $625. So it's the cheapest of the four. Kind of what we expected. Shanks will be the top manga card and Big Mom at the bottom. So when they come out, I expect the price to be similar to this. The other card we're looking at is the Kaido Parallel at almost 18,000 yen, roughly about $110. So this one is drawn by the artist for Baki. This will be a decent chase. Then you've got the Luffy and Shanks Parallel at about 5,000 yen, which is roughly about $30. These two are the cheap parallels, are doing better than the other cheap ones. So if you pull this parallel out of the English box, those two I'll put on the side before throwing them into a pile. And onto the parallel leaders. Most of these parallels are about $8 to $37. Whitebeard being the cheapest, with Luffy being the most expensive. One that you should really look out for is that super parallel leader for Luffy with the manga art behind him. That's sitting at almost 200,000 yen, roughly about $1,200 US. That's another top card for the set. People like blinging out their Luffy decks, and it's the first super parallel leader in the game. So this is one to hunt on the English side also. But for this price, I think on the English side, this will come out really overpriced, not because Japan has it at about $1,200 right now. It's just because English players, they pay extra to make their Luffy decks look good. And the first week's listings are always high. I would expect it to drop in price once more copies hit TCGPlayer. And onto the SP cards, you've got the Hockey SPs and also the 4 Emperor SPs. You've got Year 5 Luffy as the top card, almost 100,000 yen, which is roughly about $624. You've got Shanks, Blackbeard, and then Buggy as the lowest card. And for the Hockey SPs, you've got Zoro on top and you've got Yamato closely behind him. Then you've got Odin and Roger and Rayleigh at the same price. And you've got Garp as the lowest price. Not a shocker there. Zoro's a popular character, so his card is on top. Then you got the waifu tax with Yamato. Surprising to see Odin a little bit higher than Roger. Usually Roger is a better character, a lot more fans. On to the treasure rare. For the Japanese set, it's Lucky Roo. For the English version, it'll be Whitebeard, but I don't see that Whitebeard card doing too well compared to the other treasure rares from other sets. So that's about it. Where I think English is going to stack, same order, Luffy on top, Pirate Crew Rocks just below that, Shanks Manga, Super Leader Luffy, Gold Luffy SP. Then you've got the other mangas, Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom. Then you've got the Baki Kaido, Shanks SP, and Zoro SP. Some good cards to probably pick up is the SR parallels for Luffy, Shanks, and Rocks. So the card rankings, how they stack up, should look the same when English comes out. It's not going to be a dollar for dollar match because English always ends up being a little bit more expensive. But what you can kind of see is what cards are going to be in demand. And that's all I got for today. So I'm Ray from Ray's Cardboard Shop. After Friday, we'll take a look at the English prices. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.